The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio. From hot dogs to cool kitties, this is Darkside of the Pooch.
Yo, welcome to Darkside of the Pooch. Man, I haven't said that in so long. I did go down to Sasquatch Toys and Comics, though, last week. Actually down there seeing my friend Seth. I needed to get a rat for my ball, and you're like, wait a minute, a rat? Why would he get a rat? He actually still sells rats when he owned Ed's Pet World. So you can get yourself a comic and a rat. But he was actually interested in buying some of my autograph memorabilia, so it's not really for sale. But he asked me to bring down my Sting guitar, my Joe Walsh guitar, and so I took some things down there, and of course he just lathered all over it and how much you want for it. And I said, it's not for sale. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff he does. He's going to get autographs. He does cards. He does comics out the yin yang, over 300,000 comics. Super cool place, Citation Lane. Check it out, Sasquatch Toys and Comics. Perfect for Dark Side of the Pooch. I haven't said Dark Side of the Pooch because you and I haven't done a show since last year.
That seems like a long time ago.
I know. We kept missing each other, and I was like, this would be like the fifth show I would have missed today. I was like, dude, I'm doing a show with Dr. Rab, one of my favorite people, and I apologize, and I didn't want you to think I was blowing you off or that I had fallen off the deep end, but it's all good, and I'm so glad to have you back on. So let's start right off the bat. You always have great stories. You should have 5 weeks of stories to share with me. Give me something interesting that happened over the holidays, or maybe to kick off your new year that's been quite extravagantly different in your life.
Well, fortunately, and I'm going to ramble for a minute. Fortunately, I have a very short memory, and it serves me well when I get angry or someone gets angry at me. But, as far as strange cases and that sort of thing, I can remember something that's somewhat recent, but if you get much past 2 weeks, it might as well be in another dimension.
Yeah.
One thing that we're working on tomorrow is we've got a cat that we have to, this is interesting, cut the tops of its teeth off. We have to cut the tops of its teeth off.
The tops of its teeth.
Just the tops. Cats get this strange thing. They get resorptive lesions, and they have several different types. So what I mean is their teeth begin to break down. When you say the tops, are you talking about up here or down here? The tops, what is above the gum line, what you can see.
How do you do that?
So we're going to cut the tops off because the cat has what's called a type 2 resorptive lesion, and that is where the roots of the teeth slowly over time basically turn to bone, and so you can't extract the roots, but it's still painful because the cat still has a tooth that's sticking out, or on one side it has a tooth that's sticking out, on the other side has a partial tooth that it broke.
No.
So when they have a type 2 resorptive lesion, you don't have to extract the root because the root is basically gone, but it's still painful for the cat because the food is still hitting the tooth. And it's uncomfortable. So we're going to amputate the crowns of the 2 canine teeth that are in the maxilla.
Wow, that's
they
crazy.
have other resorptive lesions, and sometimes the resorptive lesions leave intact roots.
Well, what's it called? What lesion was it called?
Resorptive
lesion. And so when you say lesion, you're talking like a sore lesion kind of thing?
Yeah, like a sore. It's like a tooth sore.
Wow. Oh, it's going to be so cool to see that cat, though, because it's probably been chewing on this thing. I mean, I know from a human standpoint how painful a toothache is. It's the worst kind of pain there is.
So we're gonna get a high-speed drill, and we're gonna cut the tips off the teeth.
Wow.
But in order to know what's going on, you have to X-ray the teeth first. So last week we X-rayed the teeth.
How did you figure this out? When she came in, what was the cat? Wasn't eating or was acting weird? What was the symptoms when she came in?
She noticed that one of the the canines, the big fang teeth, she noticed that one of them had broken. And she said, the cat seems painful. And I said, yeah, the cat probably is painful because it still had a fragment of that tooth that's above the gum line. So you have to get rid of that. So we anesthetized the cat and we x-rayed her. We x-rayed the cat. We told her that we have to have x-rays because we have to see what's going on below the gum line. And so that's how we see that the roots are turning into bone.
That is kind of crazy. That's something that you've never shared with me before. That's great. Pardon me, I'm looking for something that I wanted to share with you on the show. I'll find it. That's pretty amazing stuff. That's pretty cool, actually. So. Are there special teeth dentists for animal dentist people, or like do you brush teeth, right? You do that stuff already, so this is nothing new for you to do, like an abstraction or something like
that. So there is a veterinary specialty. It's orofacial surgery, also includes dentistry, and one of my closest friends at school, he did a residency, and he is a board certified oral surgeon in animals. And we also have one here, which is great because sometimes we have cases that are difficult and tough, and they, exceed a general person's like my skill set, and so we get to send that kind of stuff to him. There's
that's super cool.
They're a specialist in that field.
That's super cool. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. I want to mention this because you talk about being forgetful. I had lunch with an investor friend of mine. He's one of these guys where you see him somewhere, you have to hold him down because you may not see him again ever. You know what I mean? He's in Israel. He's got a house out in Wyoming. And, I text him, happy birthday. And I don't hear from him for like 3 weeks. Thank you. That kind of stuff. One of those guys. But a nice guy. Just a super busy guy, And so he said, you got 45 minutes on Friday. I said, okay, I'll take it. So I met him at Santos Coffee at 12:45. We're sitting there talking, and he loves classic rock. And he was mentioning the Coca-Cola Amphitheater. And he's like, yeah. He said, I had a box last year that I share with two other guys, and we decided to go ahead and split it this year, and the seats are less, and it cost me 3 times as much as it did when it was at Oak Mountain. I said, yeah. I said, I know, He said, but I had to be there for the Fish concerts. I said, oh no. I said, really? And he goes, yeah. And I said, you like fish? He goes, dude. I said, oh man. And I said, so I had 45 minutes, and probably about 25 of those was about talking about you and our time, and why are they selling helium balloons outside the concert and this, that, and the other. We had a really good laugh, and then I started talking about the Grateful Dead shows, and we talked about our drugs, and I mean, it was super cool how it came full circle. And I was like, no doubt, you're just talking about the Fish concert. I said, oh man, I got a guy. I said, dude, I do a show with him. Well, I try to do a show with him every week. And I said, he's got more frame stuff. And he goes, no, they got great memorabilia. They got great stuff. So super cool stuff. All right. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Before we go any further, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you. 208-0301, rossbridgevet.org.com.net.tv.gov. What else? Any other places?
We're on Facebook.
Okay.
Ross Bridge Animal Hospital on Facebook.
All right.
What about Bob Weir? You mentioned the Grateful Dead. Bob Weir.
I have here. Hold on. This is so weird because I was at a UAB basketball game a couple weeks ago, and this guy came up to me. He said, do you remember me? And I said, no, I don't. And he goes, oh, I met you. I didn't know who it was. He's like, I met you 1993, 94, something like that. And I brought you a picture. And I said, yeah. And I knew exactly who it was because he's the only guy that's ever brought me a picture. And it was framed. And I said, I know exactly who you are because I have it hanging right above my toilet in my bedroom. Do you know who that is?
Well, that looks like Jerry.
That is Jerry.
It's Jerry.
And that would be Bob next to him.
Okay. Oh, now I see it. Okay.
And they
look like they're at a church. It looks like a Catholic church. Maybe
let's go Graceland.
They're at Graceland?
They're at Graceland, yeah. He took that picture through some trees. Bob Weir and Jerry Garcia, about a month before Jerry Garcia died. And that was at Graceland. Isn't that cool?
Oh, wow.
And so I've had it hanging above my toilet. So every morning when I'm taking a leak, I'm looking at Bob Weir and Jerry Garcia. And so when I told him that, he's like, you're full of shit. I said, no, I'm serious, dude. I said, I swear. I said, it's hanging right above my toilet. I said, I don't know why. I said, because it's a cool picture. It's a cool picture, So I ran into that guy, and then all of a sudden Bob Weir dies. It's like, what the heck? So, yeah, that was That was kind of a bummer. Bob Weir, one of those guys weren't sure if he was going to pull a Willie on us and go through the 90s or whether he was going to die early, or there's no telling what kind of toxology report there was. I know that he had slowed down quite a bit over his years, but I mean, Bob Weir.
He was still, he was playing shows with Dead & Co. And he just played in San Francisco at, I think, the 60th anniversary for the Grateful Dead. In the fall of last year. I guess he had cancer. I didn't know he had cancer. He beat it, but I think he died from like some type of complications or maybe a reoccurrence or something.
So how many original members were there in the Grateful Dead? The Dead we know trucking from the 60s. How many original members were in the band? Do you know?
Well, yeah. It was Jerry, it was Phil Lesh, Bob Weir, John Kurtzman, and then a guy named Pigpen. Mm-hmm. And Pigpen was John McCurley. I feel like his last name I'm fuzzy on. So it's those five guys. And then Pigpen died. And then Mickey Hart joined the band pretty soon after it formed. I guess if you want to get technical, he could be an original member, although, maybe not. And so then right before their European tour in 1972, or right after the European tour, or maybe in the middle of it, Pigpen had to come home. His liver was failing. Drank way too much. He was a young guy. So he ended up dying, and then they replaced him with a guy who was the new piano player, Keith Godshaw, who was the husband of Donna Jean Godshaw, who is an Alabama native from North Alabama, and sang, this is tying it all together. She sang backup for Elvis Presley.
Wow.
That Graceland picture. So she sang backup for Elvis Presley.
Wow.
And so the Dead found out, got wind about Keith Godshaw, and then he was like, "Hey, my wife is a great vocalist.
So that makes sense. Then the picture makes sense. That comes full circle.
Yeah, you guys might want her to join the band." And so she joined the band, and they lasted until 1979. And then they kicked Keith out of the band because he had a lot of heavy drug use. And so Keith went and Donna Jean left too. And then that is when Brent Midland joined the band, and he was in the band for about 10 years. He died of a drug overdose. So they lost another keyboardist. And that's when Bruce Hornsby joined the band. And Bruce Hornsby had huge radio hits in the late 80s, early 90s. Huge radio hits.
That's when they came out with Touch of Grey, which was a staple in their live shows, but was never released as a single. It was like one of their biggest songs ever. I remember that song was a great song. It was a great album too. What was it? Yeah. What was the name of that album? Something dark?
Well, it is something in the dark.
In the dark.
In the dark.
In the dark. It had about 3 or 4 good tunes on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had another keyboardist, and he was only there for a couple years before Jerry died, and the band ended. And I can't remember his name.
Wow.
So that's it.
I did not realize you were going to give me the entire anthology of the Grateful Dead, but now I know. The reason I was asking
is the piano players. Curse of the piano players.
The reason I ask is you hear when you think of jam bands, you just think like 12 or 13 guys, Mm-hmm. And that's why, and I realized it was only 5 or 6. I do remember Mickey Hart, and I do remember Bruce Hornsby. I always thought it was kind of strange because I thought Bruce was kind of a uppity kind of, bow tie kind of piano player, and of course, no one really knew who the hell he was until he came out with The Way It Is, and he ended up all these string of hits. But he'd been writing music for the Dead and all these other players forever.
He was a Northern California guy.
Yeah,
and he grew up listening to the Dead. He loved the Dead when he was growing up. And so I guess, their paths had to have crossed at some point in time.
Chuck Leavell played. Did Chuck Leavell? I know he played with the Stones. Did he play with Bruce or the Grateful Dead?
He may have sat in with the Dead at some point, but he was never an official member of the band.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't think he ever even sat in with them, but he could have.
Okay. All right. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. The show with Darkside the Pooch. It's back for 2026. Always fantastic show. You never know where it's going to go. Brought to you by Sasquatch Toys and Comics right there in Citation Lane. We'll take your emails. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Tabitha's kind of like the name of a cat. Isn't that neat? Tabitha wants to know. She said that her Dachshund continues to lick its right front paw, but it's only been happening. Seems like when it gets really really cold outside. What's going on with my dog's paws? We've had this question before. Yeast infection could be something stuck in it, but she said it doesn't seem like he's having any painful issues. He just likes to lick his paws. Any problems?
They lick their paws for a lot of reasons, but sometimes the most important thing is if they lick their paw a lot, they'll create an infection. So the infection is a secondary problem, but it becomes a big problem. So if she's suspicious that he might have that, she needs to take a look at the paw, and the paw will be red, or the skin will be red, or there's going to be lots of debris in between the toes. And if they lick enough to where they create infections, then you have to figure out what the primary problem is. And the primary problem could be allergies or some sort of pain or maybe anxiety.
Okay. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Steve in Northport. He says, alert, alert, alert. He's got a 12-year-old Labradoodle that is this pride and joy. Absolutely love this dog. They got a live Christmas tree for the first time ever this year, and the dog started taking a leak on the tree in the house. He said, now that I've taken the tree out of the house, guess what continues to go on? His dog continues. He's like, I've never had a problem with my dog peeing in the house ever. He said, I've replaced the strip of carpet. I've done everything I can with that corner, and the dog just continues to pee in that corner. What can I do to stop it?
Well, first be sure that he doesn't have like urinary tract infection, and it's not just like a strange coincidence. And then I'll tell you what I have done in the past with my own dogs. You say it's a male dog, right?
Mm-hmm. We'll make it a male, yeah. If it's hiking slag, if it's on a tree, yeah.
Yeah. So if you can ensure that there's not a medical issue and it's all behavioral, you can get a diaper. Like go find the cheapest diapers you can, and you turn them sideways so that instead of the diaper going between like a baby's legs.
Yeah.
Okay. Think of it as like going around the belly, and like you trap the dog's junk in the diaper, and then you use some duct tape and you tape it on the top. That way, when he pees in the diaper, and then over time you might be able to correct the behavioral problem because he's peeing in the diaper.
Really? And so he does not like peeing in that diaper because why?
Yeah. Well, because he's going to stay wet.
Really? I did not even think that would be, so that could work for any dog.
Well, females, it's not going to work because you're going to have to get like doggy diapers, which are really expensive. So for males, it's for male dogs, it's great. You can go buy the cheapest baby diapers you can find. You just got to be sure they're big and they're long enough.
Yeah. That may be something I need to do with who's sitting right behind me. I'm talking about you again. We still are having issues. It's weird because I started putting, I don't check my chair every time I walk by it, and then occasionally I'd feel it, and it got to the point where when I jumped in the shower, he was peeing on my chair, and I'm like, because I guess he thought I was leaving. I don't know, or he just doesn't like me taking a shower. I don't know what it is, but it was way over the top. I was over it, and so I just put a towel, like a bath towel, and put it on that corner of my chair. So at least when he's pissing on my chair, that's the part that gets wet, because my chair, and whenever something gets once it's peed on, Resolve or whatever, it doesn't work. It's always going to be pee, always going to be sticky, no matter how many times you try to clean it off. And I'm not going to throw my chair away because it's just that corner. But ever since I put that towel there, and every time I walk by it, I'll just kind of feel it. He hasn't peed on the chair since the towel's been there. So I don't know.
You can go the diaper route if you need to.
Maybe, and I also had one of those scary Halloween dogs. So the ones that were time censored or whatever. And it was the skeleton dog. It would bark, and that thing freaked him out. And I put it right there by the end because if we got near it, it would go off, and he would back off. But then he's just going to find another place somewhere else to pee. So it was kind of weird. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. I did want to ask you, the last time I brought Rainer in, you were not there. This was about a month and a half ago. I was coming in for flea and tick information, and she did not have the Bravecto stuff that I needed, but she did say that you guys were starting a brand new, is it a shot or something that lasts like a year or something?
Yeah.
Tell me what that's all about. We were having a disconnect. I said, so can I get that shot? She's like, yeah, next week. And I said, okay, so I have to wait till next week to come get the shot. And she's like, yeah, but Yeah, come in next. So, and I never brought it in, but I need to bring it in. So, what is it? It's a shot now for what? So, what is this?
It's an injection that lasts for 12 months that will prevent fleas and ticks. It's called Bravecto Quantum. So
Sweet.
it's an injection underneath the skin, and it gives you 12-month protection for fleas, 12 months protection on most ticks. There is one tick that you'll only get 8 months of protection for, but it's there are ways around that. But yeah, it's great. It's a great product.
Wow,
Got lots of dogs on it already.
That sounds like something that should have been out a long time ago.
It probably was in Europe.
Yeah.
Probably been out for years.
Is there anything like that for heartworm, or do we still have to give them the tablets for heartworm?
Yeah, there's an injection for heartworm prevention too.
And that's a year too?
So there's one that does 6 months. There's one that does 12 months. We have the 6 month one here. The reason we have the 6 month one here is to try to encourage people to have their annual exam done twice a year, which is what you're supposed to do. So we do the 6 months to try to encourage people to continue to come in and let us see their pet twice a year.
Okay. That's amazing stuff. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. We're already, man, the time flies by. There were a couple things I wanted to get into with you. What I was trying to find before was I had a list of the top 10 classic rock songs played in 2025.
Oh, man.
Every radio station has to report everything they play. And so through this list, we could tell you exactly what top 10 classic rock songs were played on the radio in 2025. I cannot find the list to save my life, but I think I can remember all 10 of them. Would you like to take a stab at some of the songs that perhaps would be on this list of top 25 classic rock songs played on classic rock radio, or any radio for that matter, in 2025?
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven was not on there.
Let's see, what would be okay. Let me give you the names of the bands that this is going to it's going to have on it. It's going to be represented by the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones did not make the top 10 list, my friend.
Well, is the classic rock shifting now? I mean, are we now talking about Nirvana and Pearl Jam?
No, these are not 90s. No, these are not 90s band. Well, some of them may be early 90s. Think what you hear every time you get on the radio, man. When you hear classic, Bob Seger would have been a good one, but no, that's not it.
Kiss
is not on there. Wow, I'm surprised you. I thought for sure you would have just nailed these.
Bad Company.
No.
Mac.
No. Fleetwood Mac didn't make the list, which I thought was really
all right.
amazing.
Then I don't know who makes. I don't know who's listening to music.
The one that I was really surprised. Queen, We Will Rock You.
Yeah, I should have said Queen. I'm just not the biggest Queen fan.
Song that I've been saying forever that's on the list. I wish I could find that list, but I'll have to see if I can remember. More Than a Feeling from Boston was on the list, which I thought was cool because it was a 70s song. But I hear that song everywhere.
Yeah.
There were two songs from Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to Jungle.
Yeah.
What were some of the other ones that's going to drive me crazy now that I can't? Enter Sandman from Metallica, I think, was on it.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Anyway, there were just classic rock songs that I thought was very, very
maybe AC/DC.
Oh, Here I Go Again from Whitesnake was on that list.
My gosh.
Well, that's one of the songs where the original came out. The soft rock stations wanted to play it, but they couldn't because it was just too hard. Then they made another version with like a piano background or something that just took the edge off. But Here I Go Again from Whitesnake was on there. All right. We only have a couple minutes left and time flies, but you and I discussed.
I have it right here.
Oh, did you?
I have it.
Yeah, what is it?
Number one, Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
Yeah, that's that. But Bon Jovi was on there twice.
Number two, Guns N' Roses,
Yep.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Yep.
Number three, Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah.
Number four, Bon Jovi, You Give Love a Bad Name.
Uh-huh.
See, this is what I'm saying. Classic rock has shifted now. 6 is Whitesnake.
Mm-hmm.
What was 5? 5 skipped over. Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train.
Yep.
Def Leppard is number 7. Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah.
Queen is back to back 8 and 9, which is of course We're the Champions and We Will Rock You because those songs are always played together. And number 10 was Boston. So what has happened now is that all these songs are basically from the 80s.
Yeah.
So there were no. I mean, maybe you could look at that, but I think Crazy Train was the 80s. There's not a single song from the 70s on that list.
More Than a Feeling was.
All right. Well, okay. One song.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised. I was surprised. Like Dreams wasn't on there from Fleetwood Mac. I'm thinking much more mainstream. They may not continue. They may not consider that classic rock. I don't know why they
maybe
wouldn't.
not.
But I can tell you right now, Fleetwood Mac's played everywhere.
Yeah. But the lack of 70 songs being on that list is telling that those are probably now considered oldies.
Yeah. All right. If you've listened to our show in the past, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then you probably don't. But most of the time when I do this, I'm always around old girlfriends that I'm desperately looking for affirmation from. Certainly intimacy or sexual of nature is important. And they want to have nothing to do with me. And I wake up and I always just feel crazy. We're talking about our best dreams. So I had a dream the other night. That was one of the greatest dreams I've ever had. Two women that I think are the smoking hottest, classiest girls. Not the best I've ever been with, not the best relationships I've ever been with, but they still look really, really good. I had both of them in a dream. We were at some gig doing I don't know what it was, but I mean, I was like Hugh Hefner. It was the best thing. And they knew each other. They knew how to take turns. It wasn't a sexual thing. It wasn't an orgy or anything like that. But that's what made the dream so great. Like they constantly were fawning over me. Like the entire time in the dream, whether I think I was smoking a cigar and watching TV or something. I constantly.
It seems like this is a dream where they like feeding you grapes.
Yeah, I constantly had one like rubbing my back or can I get you something? And I mean, you could tell they truly were in love with just taking care of me. And in the minute one would walk out of the room, the other one would come in. And I'm thinking, hey, how you doing? He's like, great. And we'd make out a little bit and have a little fun. Next thing you know, she'd leave and then she'd rub my feet. I mean, it was marvelous. I woke up and thought, God, that was the best dream I ever had. It was great. And in the dream, it affirmed everything that I am insecure about. Everything, the fact that, am I bigger than average? Am I a schmuck? I'm 60 years old and I have no girl in my life. I haven't gone on a date in 7 years. I haven't had sex in 10 years. What the hell's wrong with me? And I'm realizing that, hey, dumbass, get out of the house maybe once in a while. Maybe you'll go meet somebody. But I'm not doing it by doing Darkside of the Pooch with you on Monday afternoons at 5.
That's like.
But I woke up
like
and I felt so good about myself. I woke up and felt so cocky. I was like, you know what? Totem still got it. I still got it.
Today's the day.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. So give me one of your dreams and I'll let you fly because we've been talking about strange dreams. Have you been writing them down?
Well, so my most recent dream it's not super exciting, but it's a sports dream where I am, I guess because my kids are playing a lot of sports now. Mm-hmm. My son plays baseball and my daughter plays basketball. And then I have another daughter who's really in gymnastics. She's actually a state champion this year in the uneven bars state champ. So anyway, so my kids are really into sports. And so I think that's why I had this sports dream. But I was back at my home golf course in Haleyville, the old Haleyville CNC. And there was someone there. And when you have a dream, it's almost like you can't see the person's face. You can't see the person's face, but you are aware of who it is. Like, okay, in my dream, this is who this is, even though you're not like actually seeing them.
Yeah.
And so it was an old PE coach of mine that I was like, I felt like I was always in trouble in PE.
Yeah.
I was always in trouble in PE when I was a kid. And so we were at the golf course and he was doing his typical like PE teacher kind of thing. Like, oh, you can't do that pull up, that kind of stuff. Like just messing with you. Like, you're not good enough. And I said, okay, well, let's go 18 holes and we're going to go $100 a hole and it'll carry over 18 holes and we'll see. We'll see. And so we went all through the 18 holes. And there was like wacky stuff that was happening on these holes. Like, like people would like pop out of the woods and like try to mess you up and stuff. And so every hole carried over until the last hole. So, $100 a hole, we got 1,800 on this last hole. And, I hit a beautiful drive. I'm in the fairway. It's a par 4. All right. I'm on the green in 2. Okay. So I'm putting for birdie. All right. And I know I've got this. I've got this. And so I reach back, hit the putt, and then I wake up before I know what happened.
Oh. So you're into weird movies. What was the name of that movie that you and I were talking about the woman who she was dreaming about a monster, and what happened in her dream? She could actually make the monster do the thing, taking towns over and stuff. What was that movie?
That's not that one movie that you told me to watch.
Not Brazil, no.
Not Brazil?
No. Don't you? We talked about it. It's right up your alley. It had a big star in it, but it didn't do squat the box office. It was like having Netflix. It was a really bizarre movie.
Was it recent?
Yeah, maybe last 2-3 years. And she'd close her eyes and she could dream. And then so she's actually watching television, and there's this monster like walking the streets of Tokyo or whatever, and she can make it do whatever she wants it to do. She can go. So she goes out she goes out in the yard and starts showing her friends how she can move, and she can make this monster move on television.
I do not remember this movie.
God. And it had like one word title to it or something.
Sounds like this is another one of your dreams.
No, because I remember someone said you got to see this movie, and I think you were the one that told me, because I pulled it up and it was, and I thought this is either the greatest artistic movie I've ever seen or the dumbest movie I've ever seen in my life, which is exactly how I felt after I watched Stranger Things. My daughter finally got me to watch Stranger Things with her. We watched 3 episodes. I will say that I was intrigued. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen the last season, but I've seen the rest of them.
Okay, so you've seen the rest of them. All right, so we were watching season 3 when they try to kill off or whatever the it's just a zombie movie. It's a zombie movie to me. It's a zombie show.
Yeah.
Right? Am I missing something? I mean, I saw the rats and saw the woman eating the fertilizer in her basement, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just kind of like, but I mean, I could see, and I haven't gotten to the point where what the Russian thing is all about, but it's like you said, I either feel like I'm being duped, like this is the dumbest thing they've ever put together, or there's something really, really special behind it. And the only reason I think there's something special behind it is because of all the notoriety it's getting. It's everywhere. Well,
I think that it appealed to people's nostalgia, so it's really heavy. Like
it is brought back, like Landslide from Fleetwood Mac is in the top 40 now for the first time ever because of that show.
Well, we just talked about the top 10 list. It's mostly all 80s songs. I mean, people like the 80s, and so I think it just hit at the right time.
There's a Kate Bush song. There's a Kate Bush song that's like number 1 right now.
Running up the hill, run up the hill, or something like that. It just hit. It just hit right with people because it's scary, but not too scary. This guy, back then, 11 years ago, I had kids in it. Now those kids are like almost 20.
Is it 11 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Stranger Things, 11 years old?
5 seasons, took 11 years.
Why are we talking about it now? Why is it such a
season 5 just came out.
But it's done, right? The show's over?
Yeah.
But and it ended like no one knows the answer, kind of like Lost. Remember Lost? I hated that show. I love that show. And then it just got so weird at the end, and I don't even remember the cliffhanger was like it just ended. It was like it was a show that wasn't meant to have a cliffhanger. We don't always have to finish the story. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Lost. Yeah, I even love the ending. Most people didn't like the ending. I love Lost. I love it.
It's not that I didn't like it. It just there wasn't a very good way of closing up every end. And in some cases, you don't need to close up the end. Sometimes it's okay just to leave it hanging out there. I thought, what is The Quiet Place?
I only saw the first one.
Second one, really good. Not the first one was by far the best. Third one, don't go see it. It's terrible. It was a love story. I mean, I was like, what are they doing here? What's happening? It was us. A love. I was like, it was a love story. The whole show was they get these monsters. They're super cool. They can't stand sound and all this stuff. And it was like, I think it was called Day One, and it was a love story about this guy and this girl. And it was like, what did I just watch? It was bizarre. All right, brought to you by Sasquatch Toys and Comics. Over 300,000 comics. They got everything there. Seth and, of course, his buddy Ben run the joint. They got autograph stuff, cards, anything. You want to talk about taking you back to the 80s, man. Some memorabilia. You want to walk to that place, man, Garbage Patch Kid. I mean, all kinds of really cool things that you hadn't seen in a long time. Legos, you name it. Check it out. Sasquatch Toys and Comics. Tell people how they can get in touch with you, my friend.
You can call us at 208-0301. You can email us, rossbridgeanimalhospital@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook.
You rock. We'll catch up next week.
All right, buddy.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.